All right, so it's that time of year where everyone in the homeschool world starts reflecting on their homeschool year, and I guess I will do the same thing. So I'm going to talk to you about what went well, what didn't, what our goals are for next year. So let's get to it, yeah? Okay, so I got my notes, I got my tea, and I got my water, and I am set to talk about our school year. So I think it's really important to reflect on your school year. It helps you figure out what went well and what didn't, what you need to scrap next year, and what goals you want to make as well. So reflecting on our school year overall, like what happened throughout the year. Well, for one, we slowed way down more than usual. We were already relaxed homeschoolers, but this year I took it down a couple more notches and moved at a slower pace, just kind of followed my children's lead. Some subjects we spent a long time on, and some we kind of skipped or we kind of zoomed through. So it just kind of depended on them. We also started embracing technology more. So my son, my oldest son, he uses an animation app for projects. My kids used Minecraft to build things, like build missions and Presidios and stuff like that. We did a unit on California missions. We also started using Google Classroom to organize my kids' projects that they're working on. So I guess it's a project management system. I am kind of considering either doing, I think Notion, is that the popular one that people want to do right now? Maybe look into Notion and see how we can utilize that for project management for school. But I think Google Classroom is just fine as well. And then also we got 3 more chickens. And so my kids have been busy taking care of those guys or those gals. Okay, what worked in our homeschool this year? Slowing down was excellent. It was a good idea. Maybe we're moving at a much slower pace than the public school system is, or some of our other homeschool friends, but that's okay. Like, that's the thing about homeschooling. You do what you want to do. Like I mentioned Google Classroom earlier, I liked it. I liked kind of using less paper, and I'm not a micro planner. So I kind of talked about this with my best friend. We're talking about, like, I like big plans, and so she put it into excellent terms that I'm more of a macro planner and not a micro planner. And so I liked utilizing Google Classroom with my kids as a kind of for macro planning, and then they can go into details for micro planning what they need to do, but for the most part they didn't. It's just kind of like nice having that. I'll probably share more of how we use Google Classroom and Google Calendar to do that macro planning. I think that would be a good video to share, because I know I'm not the only one out there that is not type A and likes to plan and schedule everything out and have checklists and all that. So I will share what I use. So now that we've slowed down our learning, I like to call it, because it's not really unit studies and it's not really project-based learning. I don't know how to explain it, so I just call it deep dives. We just kind of dive deep into a topic and see where it leads us. I do gather a lot of resources, but we don't use them all. We just use whatever we're kind of led to. That's the part of planning I like figuring out all the resources that we can use and utilize, and just having them available. And then once we dive in, I just kind of follow my kids' lead and see where it takes us. And so oftentimes we may use like half of the resources I gather, maybe even less than that. It just depends. So our deep dives have been lasting about 4 to 8 weeks, and it's good. We're doing well. Sometimes they're like 2 weeks. It depends. Like, my kids just aren't into it, so we move on. And other times it's like 2-3 months. Like the one we're currently working on, the hero's journey, that is going on 3 months right now, I think, maybe longer. I don't know. And then what also was great, we are doing in-person classes, and my oldest son has been doing a science class that he really loves and is enjoying. And I'm glad that I put him in that. Put your face in. Say hi. Hey. I think. Hi. What needs improvement? A lot of things. For one, my kids are not as organized as I am, and I'm not expecting them to be. Like, they tidy up at the end of each night, and their tidying up is not to my standards. And so I feel like every 3 to 4 months, like I can't handle it anymore. And then I come in and I put everything back the way I feel like they should belong. What I'm failing at is teaching my kids to do the same. So, like I said, not that I'm expecting them to be as detail oriented as I am when it comes to tidying up, but I do expect, like the books, like they should be back in the shelf a proper way, not just shoved in all crazy. Paper needs to be like stacked nice and neatly, not just like thrown about and folded and wrinkled and whatever. The pens and pencils, they need to make it inside the little pen holders, pencil holders, and not just like tossed near them. You know what I mean? Like the trash. We have a trash can. There's trash around it, but it's not inside of it, like paper trash. So I need to get them to follow through. So maybe I need to enact some like Montessori, like practice doing basic life skills. So yeah, that's something we need to work on. We also need to learn, which I think we have been learning, to check out less books. For a while there, we were kind of glamored by all the books and just checking out like a ton of books, but then we never got to read all of them. And it just seemed like we felt kind of guilty not finishing them. And then, I don't know, it was just like a waste of energy. So we need to learn to just check out 1 or 2 books. And then when we're done, we can go back and get more. It's okay. We don't need to check out all the books that we want to read. Just check out the ones that we can read. We tried to join a local wild and free group, and they were great and everything, but it just wasn't a good fit for us. During COVID, one of our good homeschool friends ended up moving down to San Diego. And then another of our homeschool friends that we hung out with started taking care of her nephew. And so our schedule was just wasn't really working out where we could meet up. And so I figured, I'll join a homeschool group and we can make friends that way. But I forget, like, I should know better, because it's like mom groups. It's like dating, and you gotta find a homeschool group that meshes with your philosophy, where the adults get along and the kids get along, and where you don't feel like you're on the outside or anything like that. And so this last group that we joined, like I said, was a wild and free group. It was great. They met on Fridays, which was kind of a challenge for us because Fridays were always our free day. Either we went on field trips or we just like chilled at home and just regenerated and stuff. And so they met on Fridays, and then we had to meet like a minimum of twice a month, and most of the kids there were younger than my oldest one, and so he felt out of place. And my other two, they're a little shy in the beginning, but they warm up pretty quickly once they feel comfortable. I had to have a responsibility in the group, and it's just too much for me because I already have so much going on. And then with my husband's crazy schedule and him possibly working out in Texas for a couple months, it's like I can't commit. So we had to leave, which was fine. My kids rarely ever leave me alone. All right. So anyways, one of our really good friends started homeschooling her 2 girls, and my kids get along with them fabulous. Maybe because they've known them since they were born. So we were really excited to hang out with them, and she kind of has the same vibe as me, the same kind of energy and stuff. And she understands, like, if we can't make it because my kids are like exhausted or we just had a really bad day, she totally understands, which I love and I appreciate. So Diana, if you're watching this, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for being there with me. And so we've been hanging out once a week, and it's been really great. That was a challenge though, was finding our tribe, or like our homeschool tribe. That's a challenge. And those of you that are extroverted and can just like jump in there and mesh in with people right away, I envy you, because it takes me a while. Like, I need to warm up to people. I need to get to know them. I need to make sure that we vibe well, because I'm really not into superficial chit chat. Like, when I make friends, you're my friend for life, unless you do something that warrants you not to be my friend. We're friends for life because I'm very committed to my friends. So personal challenges I've been working on is making time for science and art. I have a hard time doing that just because it gets messy, and I don't like messes. It's like, it really bothers me, and I'm learning to let go of that and leaning into saying yes when my kids want to do one of those projects, and just embrace the mess. And so that is a challenge I've been working on. Another challenge I've been working on is being pulled into 3 different directions. So yeah, those of you with more than 1 kid or more than 3 kids, I don't know how you do it. being pulled in several different directions. Kudos to you. All right, so our goals, or my goals for next year, is to, number one, spend more time outdoors in nature. It rejuvenates us. We love it so much. We just need to do it every day. Not every day, but at least more than once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week, according to my son. Another goal is to create more art. My kids love making art, and I just need to get over my fear of messes. And I know that's from probably the way I was raised. My parents are neat freaks. Yeah, I just need to let go. Embrace the mess. Another goal that we have is organization skills, obviously. So this is nice and pretty. I decluttered it and we got rid of a bunch of books. Yeah, it feels good to have less. So I need to teach my kids how to organize a lot better so that it does not end up like it did at the end of the school year. My 10-year-old is soon to be 11-year-old, which means he's going to be a teenager soon, which means he needs to learn those life skills. I mean, we've been working on them, but I think we need to go a little bit harder into the life skills. And so put more focus on that than academics, because you can learn academics anytime. I mean, I'm sure you can learn life skills anytime as well, but it's better to, I think having that strong base of life skills will help you later in life to be able to explore and to do the things that you love, you know, because you'll have more time and energy for it. And plus you won't be mad at your parents for not teaching you how to like cook an egg or something like that. The last goal that I have is to put my kids in an agile learning center for at least 1 day a week, maybe 2 days a week. I'm not sure yet. Since like the homeschool groups aren't really working out for us, I just feel my kids just need more interaction with others. And since they are on the shy side and take a while to warm up, I feel like being part of an agile learning center will make them feel comfortable in their surroundings, because we would do it the whole year. And they would make some friends and you know, play and have fun and explore and have freedom. After every year, I feel like I have more advice to share. And so my advice, if you are new to homeschooling, or maybe this is like your first year of homeschooling, is, besides to relax, because that helps a lot, is to find a rhythm that works for you and your family. Every family is different, and the way we work is going to be completely different than the way our next door neighbor who homeschools works. Find your rhythm and go with it. You know, go with the flow. Keep with it. Don't try to fight against it. In another video, I'm going to share with you how I schedule my work times around homeschooling so that life is just not so chaotic and I actually get stuff done, which is great. And then my most important advice for you is to make time for yourself. Like seriously, make time for yourself. Schedule it in so that you actually do it. Whether that's 30 minutes a day or 5 minutes a day or whatever, just make time where it's just you, with quiet, if possible. If not, I understand. But just you. Something just for you. You will feel better. Your kids will thank you for it. Your husband will thank you for it, your partner. So just do something for yourself. That concludes my reflection of the year. It's been a great year, and I am manifesting next year to be great as well. So if you agree, in the comments down below, write next year will be even better. Let's manifest that, okay? Next year will be even better than this year. And let's just continue with that flow. So if you haven't subscribed yet or hit that bell, make sure you do, and I'll see you in the next one.